Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another episode of Fast Track Revision series on Maulika Siddhanta evam Ashtanga Hridaya paper. In the last videos, we completed the 30 chapters of Ashtanga Hridaya Sutrasthana and will be moving with the portions of Maulika Siddhanta. The short notes of these videos are provided in the Telegram channel and link in the description below. Please subscribe to my channel and enable the bell button for continuous updates in Samhita. Let's move to the video. From the Maulika Siddhanta paper, the questions asked are Shastra Lakshana or Tantra Lakshana or Tantra Guna, then Tantra Doshas, Arthashraya, Kalpana and Tachilya, and also the Ashtaprakrtis can be asked. It can be asked for either 5 marks or 3 marks questions. So moving with the Shastra Lakshana or Tantra Guna, Shishyate Anena Shastra, that a treatise or a textbook is called as Shastra, and it is considered as an ideal tool for comprehensive knowledge, and if it satisfies certain regulations, then only it can be considered as a good textbook. So thus Tantra Gunas has been mentioned in Charaka Samhita Vimanasthana 8th chapter. They are Sumahat Yashasvi Dhira Purusha Sevidam, that is written by famous peasants or the Dhira Purusha, Arthabahulam, having plentiful meaning, Aptajana Pujita, which is being praised by Aptas, Trivita Shishya Buddhihita, good for all the types of students, Apagada Punarukta Dosha, devoid of the Punarukta, Arsha, written by Rishis, Supranida Sutra Bhashya Sangraha Krama, well composed in the Sutra Bhashya and Sangraha, that is Shloka with explanations and summaries. Swadhara, content is meaningful and easy to understand. Anavapatita Shabda, free from usage of bad or vulgar words or languages. Akashta Shabda, devoid of hard or difficult words which are difficult to pronounce. Pushkalabhidana, having different synonyms with scope of wider applications. Kramagadhartham, it convey the main theme and the topics in an orderly manner. Artha Tattva Vinishaya Pradhana, all the things in this particular Shastra will be related to the main purpose only. Sankadartha, it will be related to the main aim. All the matters will be similar, or it will be having connection with the main aim which that textbook is related to. Asankula Pragaranam, free from the haphazard and disorderly presentation. Ashu Prabodhakam, quickly understandable. Lakshanavat, rich in different definitions of different terms. And Udaharanavat, having examples, illustrations, etc. If these properties are seen, then it is considered as the Tantra Guna or Shastra Lakshana. And moving with the Tantra Dosha, the opposite of these qualities are considered as Tantra Dosha, that a treatise should not contain. That is, the defects or demerits or blemishes of the textbook is called as Tantra Dosha. Acharya Arunadatta has described these Tantra Doshas. They are Aprasita Shabda, that is usage of unpopular or unknown or unfamiliar words in the textbook. Dushpranita, badly composed without in the form of Sutra, Bhashya, etc. Asankadartha, that is the sentences will be contradicting each other. Asukharohi Padam, usage of words which are very hard to pronounce. Viruddha, that is the words, sentences or the context which are contradictory to each other. There are 3 types, that is Drishtanta Viruddha, Siddhanta Viruddha and Samaya Viruddha. Ativistrata, excessive elaborated discussions on the topic, and Ati Samkshita, very brief or too less or concise matter presentation. Aprayojana, without telling any aim or any purpose of the Shastra. Bhinnakrama, description without in a sequence of order, simply has done the matters. Samdikta, doubtful or confused statements or without any logical reasoning, something is being mentioned. Punarukta, the same topics are being repeated again and again. Nishpramana, the statements and topics which are not proved by any of the pramana and which cannot be proved also. Asamaptartham, the statements or the topics which are not completed without any reasoning or any proper conclusion. Anarthaka, the statements which have bad or unworthy meaning. Vyahada, the statements which contradict each other, or the topics which contradict each other. Next is regarding the Kalpana. 7 types of Kalpanas are mentioned. This also the varieties of description, various specific literary styles of description is called as Kalpana. The 7 types are Pradhanasya Kalpana, that is importance is given to a particular thing among a group, that is the best one among the similar things is considered, that is Pradhanasya Kalpana. Next is Pradhanena Kalpana, that is importance is given to the main subject. For example, the Kshira Varga consists of milk, the milk products like Navanida, Ghrida, Duktha, Dathi, etc. But among that, the all are having similar properties, but Kshira is considered as the most important among that, and that particular group of things which are similar is named as Kshira Varga because of its importance. So that is Pradhanena Kalpana. Importance is given to one particular subject. Next is Guna Kalpana, that is one thing is being described using certain gunas or properties, but that is not actually a property. For example, in Ayurveda we have 41 gunas being mentioned, but we know the Pada Chatushtaya or Chikitsa Chatushpada has been given 16 qualities or 16 gunas has been mentioned. These gunas mentioned for Vaidya, Rogi, Dravya and Upasthada are not actually gunas, which are not coming under the 41 gunas, but they are considered as guna or qualities. Such explanation is called as Guna Kalpana. Next is Lesha Kalpana. The statements are the topics which we have to infer from other textbook, that is the same principles or the same subject we have to refer from the other textbook. Like for example, when we are reading Ayurveda Shastra, whatever is not being told in Charaka Samhita, we can refer it from the Sushruta Samhita or another Samhitas like Bhela Samhita or Harita, etc. So that is called as Lesha Kalpana. From the same principle or from the same subject, we have to refer from another textbooks. Vidya Kalpana is referring from another things, like from the Darshana Shastras we are referring certain topics in Ayurveda. Such way, the another sciences which is being incorporated is called as Vidya Kalpana. Next is Bhakshya Kalpana. It is also called as Bhakti Kalpana. If anything is being compared to eatables, for example, Ayurveda is compared as Amrita, or also it can be considered as Bhakshya Kalpana is the way in which the author like interest of the author is being mentioned. That is, by the interest of the author, he will be having a particular pattern for the writing textbook or the scriptures. So that is called as Bhakshya Kalpana. Next is Aknya Kalpana, that is based on the Aptopadesha. That is, the do's and don'ts will be provided or given in the particular textbook. That is called as Aknya Kalpana. So these are the 7 Kalpanas: Pradhanasya Kalpana, Pradhanena Kalpana, Guna Kalpana, Lesha Kalpana, Vidya Kalpana, Bhakshya Kalpana and Aknya Kalpana. Next is Arthashraya. The Ashraya means support. This Arthashraya helps in getting the complete knowledge of the scientific words and also gives a support to the scientific concept. They are Adilopa, that is omission of the word from the beginning of the statement. For example, we will be telling always rasa, in which we have to take it as Mamsa Rasa, from which the first word Mamsa is being omitted. Madhyalopa, the words in the middle of the words will be omitted. Antalopa, at the end of the statement or a word, it will be omitted. Ubhaya Padalopa, the 2 places the words will be omitted. Adi Madhyalopa, the 3 Adi, Madhya and Anta, the words will be omitted, and such words are very difficult for understanding. Varnopajanana, the missing words will be supplied by the commentators, or they will be filling the meaning with the certain other words. That is called as Varnopajanana. Rishiklishta, in a state of inattention of physical inability or mispronouncing a word become popular in the world. Such words are called as Rishiklishta. For example, there is a word called as Roma and Loma. In both ways it are pronounced. So such examples we can consider as Rishiklishta. Tandrashila, adopting twofold method of exposition, that is descriptive and elaborative. We have the descriptive content in the first, especially in the Sutrasthanas of the Samhitas, and the elaborative matter of that we can see in the next sthanas. Next is Tantra Saknya, accepting a specific meaning for a particular word in a particular Shastra. For example, the word Rasa is having the meaning Mercury in the Rasa Shastra, whereas this Rasa in general we can consider it as Shad Rasas. Next is Prakrita, that is interpretation of words according to the context. For example, the word Saindhava is having different meanings, and in the kitchen we can consider the Saindhava as Lavana, and in other places we can consider it as Ashwa. So based on the context we have to understand the meaning. Samana Tantra Pratyaya, that is to establish the concept considering the other scientific works on that particular discipline. That is, if we are reading Ayurveda Shastra, then regarding all the Samhitas, from the other Samhitas we will get the knowledge, or the correlation or the concepts will be taken from other textbook. That is Samana Tantra Pratyaya. Paratantra Pratyaya, taking references from other allied scientific works. Just like an example, Shat Padarthas are being taken from Vaisheshika Darshana, or the other things which are being taken from other Darshana Shastras. Hedu Heduka Dharma, when there are number of causes mentioned for an effect, considering the most reasonable and potent cause. For example, for a roga there will be different varieties of nidanas, but a particular nidana will be responsible for producing that particular roga in a particular patient. So we have to identify that particular cause or the nidana which had produced that disease in that patient. Such thing is called as Hetu Heduka Dharma. Next is Karyakarana Dharma, to speak an effect as a cause and cause as an effect as a secondary sense. For example, Roga is also called as Dosha. The dosha is different, roga is different, but the dosha, when it gets vitiated, it produces roga. So in certain places for the word roga we will be using the word dosha also. The karya and karana, karya is the roga and karana is the dosha, but we can interchange the words in certain contexts. Adyanta Viparya, to alter the sequence or arrangement of the chapters of or the other matters for a particular valid reason. That is Adi and the Viparya, the exchange or changing in the sequence is being done. Shabdantaram, to recommend identical scientific terms, that is synonyms are being used. So this synonyms will be helping for understanding a scientific work in much more better way. Next is Pratyaya, keeping the real cause of the effect hidden and giving importance to the another one. For example, Prajnaparadha is the main cause for the Unmata, Apasmara, etc. Rogas, but the main nidanas which we consider in the practically is like Pishaja, Graha, etc. So the real cause Prajnaparadha is not being taken and the other causes are considered for the practically. So such things is called as Pratyaya. Next is Upannaya, that is draw nearer or to closer to a subject. That is the allied subject matter is telling about the major topic. Like for example, in Matra Shuddhi Adhyaya, first the matra of ahara has been mentioned. After that the major topic which is related to the ama and ama janya rogas has been mentioned. So such two topics which are being mentioned in a particular area is considered as Upannaya. Sambhava, the major topics or the subjects will be taught in briefly and next it will be explained, like whatever we have seen in the Sutrasthana. In the Sutrasthana everything will be shortly explained and the elaborate explanation of these things we can see in the further chapters of the next sthanas. So that is Sambhava, and Vibhava means the wide explanation of a particular matter. Next is Tachilya. The usage of similar words or similar meanings of an object is called as Tachilya. There are different varieties. First is Tachilya, that is similarity of one or more qualities between two objects is called as Tachilya. For example, the word Swapna is given for the Nidra as synonym, because Supta word refers to becoming numbness or loss of sensation, and during the Nidra time or during the sleeping time the person will be having loss of sensation. So if to compare to that properties, the word Nidra is being given a synonym called as Swapna. Next is avayava, that is inferring the unspoken statements through the expressed one. For example, if a statement is given that a person gets back his health after the Lankhana karma, that is the given sentence, and from that we have to infer that if the person is not performing Lankhana karma, he won't be becoming healthy back. So inferring the things which is being not told is called as avayava. Next is vikara, that is opposite action. The same nomenclature will be given for the natural and unnatural substances. For example, shaka is the word for vegetables. If we cook the vegetables also, that also is termed as shaka itself, because after cooking the shaka or the vegetables will be undergoing several changes in its rasadi panchaka, but then also that particular thing is called as shaka, that is vikara. Samipya, proximity or closeness in qualities of different substances. For example, snehadravyas. They are different substances. The main four snehadravyas like sarpi, taila, vasa and majja, they are four different things, and they have different properties also. But because of the same property, one single property, that is sneha, they are being bring together. So that is called as samipya. Next is bhuyastva, giving importance to the predominant quality of a substance. A substance will be having different properties, but the important or predominant quality will be highlighted for a particular substance. Next is prakara, mentioning of substances which can be used because of the similarity in the nature. For example, in the Vamana karma, when the Vega is not coming, then it is being mentioned that Erenda Nala can be used for inducing the Vamana Vega. So similarly, other substances which are similar to Erenda Nala can also be used for the purpose of inducing the Vega of Vamana. So that is called as prakara. Next is guni guna vibhava, a quality being expressed as a substance and vice versa. That is, a guna can be considered as a guni and a guni can be considered as a guna. So for example, the parthiva agni will be digesting the parthiva dravya. So here parthiva is a guna and it is used to express the guni, that is agni. So that is guna and guni will be used vice versa. Samsaktada, to group a substance under a particular class in spite of having the features of some other class. For example, Madhu is having Kashaya and Madhura rasa. Its predominant rasa is Kashaya rasa. But as the Madhu is having Madhura rasa and some other features, it is included under the Madhura varga. So such differentiation is called as Samsaktada. Next is Tadharmada, to compare the substances possessing similar qualities, nature or actions. For example, the unskilled physician is being compared to Yama because of his actions. So comparison of things based on the quality, nature or action is called as Tadharmada. Next is Sthana. By naming either the sthana or sthani, the other thing we can understand. That is called as sthana. For example, from the word jihva, we will understand that jihva helps in perception of the taste. But actually, the rasanendriya which is present in the jihva is responsible for the perception of the taste. But all the time we won't be telling the rasanendriya. We will be telling that jihva helps in attaining the or perception of the taste. So from the sthana or by the sthani, we will be understanding the thing. Next is tadarthyam. Every substance possesses a specific action. To name the substance after the purpose of which it is being used is called as tadarthya. For example, Madana Phala is being used for Vamana, Virejana, Asthapana, Bhasti, etc. But the Madana Phala is mainly known for the Vamana karma or Chardana karma. So such a specific action will be highlighted for a particular object, that is called as tadarthya. Next is Sahacharya. Constant association and intimate relationship of two things is called as Sahacharya. That is, Agni and Dhuma are always together. So that is called as Sahacharya. Next is Karma. To speak inaction as action. For example, the Rishi is meditating. Meditation is an akarma, but we are telling or we are comparing it with a karma. So that is karma. Next is guna nimitta, admiring a substance by its virtue. For example, while telling about the description of brahmacharya, different the properties of or the benefits of such things will be told. Like brahmacharya will be giving yashasya or it is ayushya. Such all the benefits of brahmacharya has been told. So by highlighting the guna or the highlighting the purpose or the benefits of a particular thing, the matter will be explained. That is called as guna nimitta. Next is cheshta nimitta, comparing two substances based on the similarity in their action. For example, the knowledge shines like a lamp. So here the knowledge and the lamp are compared with the based on their action. The next is moola saknya, make use of certain words in their technical meaning in a scientific treatise. That is, for example, the word rupa will be having in general the rupa word means the appearance, etc. But in based on the context, we can consider rupa as the color or beauty, etc. in this Ayurveda Shastra. So giving a particular meaning in a particular context or the Shastra. Next is tadstyam, inferring one for the other in view of its close inherence or coexistence. For example, the pain in the bladder is experienced by the person but not by the organ. So these are the tachilyas. So from these tachilya, ardhashraya, kalpana are considered as tantra gunas by Acharya Arunadatta, and tantra doshas also has been mentioned by Acharya Arunadatta. Next is the concept of Ashta Prakriti or regarding the Srishti Krama. Prakriti means prakaroti iti prakriti. That which produces or creates other tattvas is called as prakriti, or that which produces tattva and is not being created itself is not created from anything is called as prakriti. Also the cause for other manifestation is also known as prakriti. The state of equilibrium of sattva, rajas and tamas can be seen in the prakriti, and the tattva which creates the universe in a significant manner is called as prakriti. So the prakriti means that which is regarding the creation. It helps in the creation. That is called as prakriti. The Ashta Prakritis are Avyaktam Mahanahankaraha Panchatanmatrani Chaityeshto Prakritayaha Shesha Shodasha Vikaraha. So Avyakta, Mahat, Ahankara and Panchatanmatra are considered as the Ashta Prakriti, and the rest all the things, that is Ekadasha Indriyas and Panchamahabhutas, are considered as the Shodasha Vikaras. So in total we have 24 tattvas. Among that 8 things or 8 tattvas, that is Avyakta, Mahat, Ahankara and Panchatanmatra are called as Ashta Prakriti. So the Srishti Krama goes on like Avyakta, Mahat, Ahankara. This Ahankara is of 3 types, that is Satvika, Rajasika and Tamasika. From the Satvika Ahankaras, with the help of Rajasika Ahankara, Ekadasha Indriyas will be produced, and that is Pancha Karmendriyas and Pancha Jnanendriyas along with the Manas. And from the Tamasika Ahankara, with the help of Rajasika Ahankara, Pancha Tanmatras will be formed. From this Pancha Tanmatra, Pancha Mahabhutas will be produced. So the first matter which is being present is Avyakta. It is the fundamental cause for the evolution. All the other tattvas are born out of this Avyakta. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas are its gunas which are equally seen in this Avyakta. And as the sea is the source for all the animals and plants in the sea, similarly this Avyakta is considered as the main source for all the Kshetrajna or the Purusha. Next, from this Avyakta, Mahat is being produced. This Mahat is also having all the same properties just like of Avyakta, that is Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. And Ahankara, having the same attributes, is formed from this Avyakta, from this Mahat. And this Ahankara is of 3 types, that is Vaikarika or Satvika, Taijasa or Rajasika and Bhutadi or Tamasika. So from this Ahankara, the 11 Indriyas are being formed. That is, this Ekadasha Indriyas are also having the properties of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. And this Ekadasha Indriyas are formed from the Vaikarika or Satvika Ahankara with the help of Rajasika Ahankara. And the Pancha Jnanendriyas are Shrotra, Tvak, Chakshu, Jihva and Krana. Pancha Karmendriyas are Vak, Pani, Pada, Payu and Upastha. Next, from the Tamasika and Rajasika Ahankaras, the Panchatanmatras will be formed, and from this Panchatanmatras, Panchamahabhutas are being formed. So these are the 8 Prakritis, that is, which is capable of producing and it is not being produced. From these 24 tattvas of Srishti Krama, the Sharira is being manifested. That is, the Sharira is the combination of these 24 tattvas. As per the Sankhya Darshana, there are only these 24 tattvas. And in Ayurveda, the 25th tattva is considered as Atma. When this Sharira is just being combined with the 25th tattva, that is called as Atma, then that particular combination is called as Purusha. When this Purusha and Prakriti combines, then only the Srishti will be happening. For that purpose, one Nyaya has been mentioned, that is Pangu Antha Nyaya. That is, Prakriti and Purusha are contrary in nature. They are dissimilar in different properties and they cannot produce any factor if they are independently seated. And they commence the creation when they are combined together. This combination will be resulting in the Srishti Krama, and this is just similar to that of a lame person and a blind person who is moving together by helping each other. So that is called as Pangu Antha Nyaya. Next is the Sadharmya and Vaidharmya of Prakriti and Purusha. This you can expect as a separate question. So Sadharmya, or the similarities of Prakriti and Purusha are both are Anadi, Ananda, Alinga, Nitya, Anapara and Sarvagata. The Vaidharmya, or the dissimilarities of Prakriti and Purusha. Prakriti is Eka, Purusha is Bahu. Prakriti is Achetana, Purusha is Chetana. Prakriti is Bijadharmini, Purusha is Abijadharmini. And Prakriti is Prasavadharmini, Purusha is Aprasavadharmini. Prakriti is Amadhyastha Dharmini and Purusha is Madhyastha Dharmini. Thus we completed the fast track revision series on Maulika Siddhanta Evam Ashtanga Hridaya paper. We discussed the most important topics which were asked in the previous year examinations. Hope you enjoyed the whole series and expect that it will be helpful for your last minute revisions. All the notes are available in our Telegram channel and the link for the same is provided in the description. You can watch this revision series a day before examination, which will help you to cover the whole syllabus in a timely manner. Wish you all the very best. Please like, share and comment if you find this videos helpful for your examinations, and don't forget to subscribe the channel for more Samhita related contents. Once again, wishing you all the very best for your examinations. Thank you.